Good evening, Griffins. Per your request earlier today, I will actually record some gaming for you. This is pre-recorded. Doing this, it's about 4:15 or so here. Got through some papers, did some grading, and I feel like made a lot of progress today. So it was a good, productive day. So I'll indulge you in your requests from the live stream earlier today to do some streaming of some gaming. So we're gonna jump in and do some Kerbal Space Program. That's the game I mentioned earlier that I had been kind of off and on playing lately. So we'll jump in, see if I can get myself to the moon. We're going to do a little Apollo-style mission. See if I can successfully land on the moon. Let's go for it. Yep, I don't know if my laptop can handle recording this and also playing a game at the same time. We're going to test the waters here. Haven't tried this before. This isn't my school laptop. This is actually my own laptop. So see if it's got the juice to get us through here. Who knows? The recording might end up being just terrible, just terrible quality. But we're going to try it out and see how it goes. Yep, I can already hear the fans humming on my computer. This might push it to the limit here. Might actually overheat the whole thing. That would be bad. All right, let's get in here. I'm gonna resume a save because I've already got a career mode going in this game. Where basically the goal of the game is space travel. You make ships, you make satellites, things of that nature. And check my audio because this sounds like it's ridiculously loud. Let's crank that down a little bit. Got a lot of bit. Let's crank it down a little bit. Tracking station. Here's all of my current. So here's Kerbal, which is like the Earth in this game. Here's the moon, which is the moon. This planet actually has 2 moons, unlike Earth. And here's the rest of the solar system in this game. Got a lot of different ships out there currently. Probably my most ambitious one currently was, let's see, I have a base on the moon. So here's Kerbal again, here's the moon. I put a base on this thing. Let's jump in and take a look at this. It's one of my finer pieces of work, so I gotta show it off. And it's on the moon, where we're going to be traveling to today. Here's my base. I sent it here in 2 parts. I sent it here in this part, which unfortunately I did not put wheels on because I'm a dummy, so it's stuck where I landed it. This one, however, does have wheels, so I drove it in and docked it. These little docking ports here. So I could undock this thing, but I'm not going to because it took me forever to get this thing lined up and actually jammed in there. But I've got some guys on this ship here. In fact, let's get one of these guys out. Let's get my scientist on this ship out. Here he is. He's on the moon. This is kind of a whimsical game too, so he's here on the moon. I won't go too fast here. Land him on the ground. Plant a flag if I want to. We already have a flag right over there, so don't really need to plant a flag here. But this is the moon, so my goal today is going to be getting a lander on the moon. I may even try and get it close to this thing here. Kind of ambitious, but let's get this guy back in his hobbit hole here. All right, let's go back to the Space Center. That guy is safe and sound now. All right, couple different buildings here that you can see. I've got my my launch pad, my runway for space shuttles, space planes, just regular planes. My research and development building, which I've maxed out. So I want to have the nice new equipment. My astronaut complex. But to get to the moon, we're gonna need a real deal rocket spacecraft. So let's jump over to the building center here. I'm gonna, you can go through and build different stuff here. I got all sorts of crazy stuff I can put together. But to spare you the amount of time that would take, I'm just instead going to preload a rocket I've already built. Going to the moon, which in this game is just spelled M-U-N, Moon 4. So here's this massive behemoth that I built to get me to the moon most recently. Got some rocket boosters, got some regular engines here. These things are all tethered together with these fuel lines. So that's gonna save me a lot of gas. A lot of propellant on the way up to the moon. So this is got some solar panels on it, got batteries. I put some landers on this thing. Got some science equipment to run some tests while I'm up in space. The mystery goo container. I can test this mystery goo, see what it looks like in different parts of space. Got my actual command pod here, which is going to house my Kerbal, who's going on this mission. Let's see who's going. Jeb, he's already been to the moon several times. It says he's planted a flag on the moon 5 times. Also been to some other planets, celestial bodies. So he's been there and done it. Let's put Roswell Kerman on this thing. My little green pilot. She has orbited the moon, but it looks like in her log here, she's not actually planted a flag on it. Let's change that. She deserves a pay raise here. All right, let's launch this thing. Let's get it out on the launch pad and see what happens. You never know with this game. Sometimes the physics engine just decides to totally crap out on you. Alright, so I got a throttle meter here. Got a G-force meter here, but I don't care about this pilot. If she experiences severe G-force, that's her problem. She signed up for this. But gotta throttle up a little bit as I take off. My goal will be to turn right. That's gonna get me going sideways real fast. And that's how you get into orbit. It's about going sideways real fast. It's not about going straight up. So I will turn this thing over gradually as I'm taking it off. That's somewhere in there, about 1/3 of the way. Alright, that looks pretty smooth. Probably could even throttle down a little bit. We're going to hang on to about a 1/3 throttle. See my fuel showing over here. These rocket boosters are getting low. I'm at the point where I'm going to want to start turning this thing over. Get rid of those guys. And throttle up. My goal here is to get to about 90 degrees. So I want to just slowly do that. If I turn too fast, my thing won't be flyable. It'll start flipping out of control. So I just want to slowly start wedging this thing over. Watching my speed here, it looks pretty good. You don't want to be going too fast when you're in this low of an altitude because you're in the thick part of the atmosphere. I guess there's my boosters hitting the ground. Yeah, those things blew up. Hopefully they didn't hit anybody's house. Oh, this baby's wanting to flip over. Okay, we saved it. Can't get too far outside this yellow circle, or it will start flipping on me. See, my fuel's looking like it's empty on these tanks. Yeah, let's go on and get rid of those. Getting rid of that weight's going to speed my craft up a whole lot here, but I'm getting towards the less dense part of the atmosphere, so that's not really going to be problematic at all. Not going to flip as much. There's less drag up here. I'm going to wait for this thing to say that I'm hitting an orbit. Still got plenty of fuel here. I can check my fuel over here. Still got plenty of fuel. All right, this says I'm hitting an orbit now. So I'm going to cut that, go into the map mode, check my flight path. Here's where I took off from, the Space Center. The current apoapsis, that's not high enough. We want to jack that up. That's still in the atmosphere. Actually want to jack this thing up to at least about 70 or 80. Sounds like my next little bit of burners are gonna drop. Not the cleanest burn here, but there we are. 80,000 meters, that'll put us into space and out of the atmosphere, so we won't have to worry about drag up there. Let's get out of map mode here. Start turning this thing over, because again, we want to get going sideways really fast. It's not about going straight up. We want to go sideways to where eventually, instead of falling back to Earth on this pattern here, we would instead fall and miss the Earth and continue to stay in space. Just from experience playing this game, I know that I'm going to want to burn pretty well straight sideways, and about now is when I'm going to start this burn. See, this it's going full blast. Roswell's in here. She's in the command pod. She's hanging 10. And we're just going to put this thing on a full burn. There's the parts I dropped. It's going to fall back into the ocean somewhere, which is good. That's better than someone's house. The ocean is. Again, spacecraft's just burning. I'm going straight sideways here. That's my goal. This will be kind of right here. The crosshair is. A lot of staging to this rocket. This main big old part of it is what's going to get me into orbit. I've got a second rocket here that's going to get me to the moon, and then I've got my landing rocket here that's going to land me on the moon and then get me back. So as I zoom out here, you can see I'm falling towards the Earth still. I want to get it again to where I'm going sideways so fast that I fall and just miss the Earth. Or Kerbal in this game, as they call it. So I can see, all right, at this point I'm coming up. Wait for those to flip. That's about good right there. Pretty circularized orbit. 75,000 meters. That's out of the atmosphere, no drag, so I'm not going to be, experiencing any problems there. Now, my goal is to get to the moon. Set this guy as my target. You can see my orbit. I'm around the equator of the Earth. The moon orbits around the equator of the Earth, so I should be pretty good to just keep myself burning around here. About right here, where this crosshair meets. Any RCS on this thing? I don't have any RCS. Put a little reaction wheel here, which helps me turn when I'm in space and there's no drag. These wings are useless at this point. There's no air up here. The wings do nothing for me. Perhaps I should have considered putting a little detacher on those so it would throw my wings, make me lighter. That would save on fuel if you're light. So the moon's way over here. If I start burning where I'm at currently, I'd end up shooting off somewhere, over here. So from my personal experience playing this game, the easiest way to get to the moon is to auto my thing to prograde burn, time warp. In fact, I might time warp and speed this thing up considerably. I want to wait until the moon is going to appear on the horizon in front of me. Which should be coming up pretty soon. All right, let's get the ship got all out of whack and turned around. Let's get the ship turned around. That would be a good thing to do. There's the moon appearing. I want to wait until it's just right above the horizon and then start my burn. It's going to put me on a path to get to the moon. This is where the map mode comes in handy. So I'm going to watch my apoapsis, my highest point, my highest altitude from the Earth that I'm currently orbiting. And I want to just keep pushing this thing till I'm roughly about the altitude of the moon. Which is about, what, it says 11,400 meters here. All right, so I'm burning. This thing's going to get in here pretty close. Drop my big stage, get to my transfer stage rocket here. Continue the burn on it. So I'm continuing the burn there. And I'm getting an encounter with the moon. So let's come in here, focus my view. And I'm not going to full throttle. Just going to give it a little juice here on the throttle. Till I'm coming in at roughly the equator of the moon. This thing to maybe about 100,000 is usually what I shoot for. That's fine. All right, great. Now at this point I could, if you play this game, you'd know that there's all sorts of stuff. I could start creating maneuvers in the future. They'd tell me how much I need to burn and stuff like that, but we ain't gonna worry about that. Who's got time for science? I'm just kidding. All right, so my spacecraft is still very close to the Earth, but eventually I'll be getting very close to the moon, so speed this guy up. In fact, let's speed the game up a whole lot. I'm time warping. But if I wasn't time warping, I'm out here in space. I could take my pilot and put him out on the outside of the ship here. I'd take an EVA report high in space over Kerbal. Not really anything going there. I could remove my helmet, but that'd be a bad idea because I'm in space on a spacewalk. I'm going to quick save here. Oh, can't quick save while I'm on a ladder. But I could go on a legit spacewalk if I wanted. I could get out here, float around a little bit. Don't want to mess around with that too much. Sometimes you accidentally lose track of your ship, and it's hard to get back on it and board it again. So I don't want to mess around with that too much. And I got various science equipment on this thing. I could run some tests, but I've already done this before. Apparently, this one's still worth some science points. I'm gonna keep that experiment. Anyway, there's the moon. That's where we're headed. So long, Earth. We'll see you later. There's the sun. All right, let's speed this thing back up again. All right. There's the moon. getting further away from Earth, you can see there. So my route's looking fine. Here's where I am on my route. Eventually, when I get to this little blue circle, I'll pop out on this gold route and be coming in at about 94,000 meters above the moon. So let's speed this thing up significantly. Okay, that's maybe a little too fast. About 1,000. That's usually pretty normal. Alright, it slowed me down, which tells me I'm now on the what was formerly the gold path. I'm coming in here. You can see I've already got my base is already landed on the surface of the moon. Got some satellites here going, which is nice. They can help me stay in contact. I think I put a... I did put... yeah. I put an antenna on this thing. Always got to put an antenna on stuff. Don't want to screw up and forget the antenna. So, it's like my guy's in contact with the moon base. Antenna. Got solar panels here. These are getting direct sunlight because I am out in the open. Nothing's blocking me from seeing the sun. So my electricity is looking good. My fuel is looking fine. Don't really need to worry about these two items until later in the mission. Yeah, I've got batteries. They're getting sunlight. So this one's actually blocked because it's on the other side. So I could twist my guy over, try and get them both in direct sunlight, which I just did. I got some science equipment on here that I could try and work with, but not going to worry about that until I land on the moon. So, speed this thing up again, get a little closer to the moon. Alright, we're going to want to spin this guy around, get him retrograde, so that when I burn, I'm going backwards now. Because that's going to slow me down, which will put me into an orbit of the moon. Just like the Apollo guys. That's how they did it. Michael Collins running that command module. Alright, this is looking about where I want to start burning. I'll wait until I get to my periapsis, my lowest point, where I'm closest to the surface of the moon. So, time warp it. Alright, let's cut the time warp. There's the moon. We're still pretty high up here, so... Alright, my timer here is telling me I'll be there in 15 seconds at my closest point to the moon, so... say about like 5 seconds away, I'll start burning to slow myself down. See, my speed's going down. Zoom out and check my map. It's track of the moon. Where are you, moon? That's fine. It's easier to do from the map mode anyways. So I'm already in an orbit. I could stop here and I'd stay around the moon forever. But I'm going to get myself into a nice circularized orbit. Wait for that to flip around a little. That's pretty good. Not perfect. Watch guys on YouTube. They are masters where they can get these apoapsis and periapses just so perfect. But that's not bad. Not bad at all. If I wanted to land at my moon base, I'd want to probably burn somewhere roughly over here. Put myself down, so we'll shoot for that. Let's be ambitious. However, I've already been to this part of the moon, so it's like I kind of want to explore new parts of the moon. Put on my flags. See the different parts of the moon before I landed in this crater, which was a massive crater. That one was kind of a fun landing. It's like this crater I went near but over. Let's try and aim for this crater. See if we can get in this big old crater. Land in that guy. Alright. This is where actually I'm going to use the maneuvers because it's a lot easier than just eyeballing it. So I'm going to slow myself down till it looks like my path's going to put me in the middle of this crater. Much like the moon that's here in real life, this one is tidally locked, so it doesn't spin, which is nice. Alright, this thing's telling me my burn time will be 5 seconds, and it's going to need to happen in about 14 minutes. So let's just actually warp myself ahead. Let's jump ahead. Where's the moon at? Alright, that'll work. Again, I want to burn backwards because I want to slow myself down. If I was facing the other way, I'd speed up and shoot out into space. I don't want that. I want to land on the moon. So I need to slow myself down. As in, I'm traveling this way. I want to burn my rocket, so I'll be going the other way. Real small burn time here, so speed myself up a little bit. Alright, about right there's where we want to hit it. A little bit more out of this. Try and make it good as we can. Alright, looks like my path is still going to land me right in the middle of this big old crater, so that's looking fine. Just to be safe, let's retract my antenna and drop my gear. You'd see this thing isn't tall enough. That's because there's another stage to this rocket. I'm going to click and drop this section right here, in which case my landing gear will be tall enough then. This will be my final rocket that'll get me back to Earth. It's just the easiest way to play this game I've found, is to make sure you have plenty of fuel. Alright, let's speed it up. We're going to be getting pretty close to the ground here. Let's quick save it just in case I absolutely botch this thing, which is possible. Nobody's perfect. See, my altitude's dropping here. That's good because I want to get down to the ground here. About 20,000 or so, I'll turn this thing down. Again, I'm facing backwards. I'm traveling this direction. So that's why my rocket's facing backwards, because eventually I want to slow myself down. So I'm coming in hot here. If I tried to land at this speed, I would kill my Kerbal, or my little my pilot here, Roswell Kerman, would be going up in a heap of glory. Obviously, that's not the goal of the space program. We're going to speed it up again. Time warp feature. Looks like we're getting into where the ridge of the canyon is. Looks like that'll be the ridge there. Alright, I'm going to start slowing this thing down. Ideally, a good number to land at is 0, so that's a good speed to be going at. So hopefully we got the juice to get this thing down to 0 before we hit the ground. At least the crater's lower, so probably going to be landing at about 2,000 meters or so, so this looks kind of like a suicide burn. Might have to reload here. I'm also going to be landing on an incline, it looks like, somewhere in here, which could be pretty risky. Risky business. So I'm going to keep this burn going because I don't want to end up on that hill. But I want to make sure I clear this hill on this little mini crater. It's a crater inside a crater. Alright, this looks pretty good. I might actually try and juice myself over here a little bit. So maybe it's a little flatter out in the middle of this thing. Hey, we're coming in at a nice speed. Again, I'm going to have to drop this bottom tank. See my shadow? That's a good sign. Try and keep gradual burn here going. Make sure I'm coming in real nice and slow. Speed's looking good. Don't want to waste fuel, though. I don't want to be going too slow. And I definitely don't want to go start going back vertically. That'd be bad. Okay, this looks super duper slanted, but we're gonna give it a go. All right, let's drop that guy. Now you can see I'm short enough that I should be okay. Might end up tipping over here. Oh yeah, that's gonna want to tip over. Let's get myself more over here. The more you play this game, the better you'll get at those little maneuvers like that. Get yourself off a hill. This still looks pretty vertical, or pretty sloped in here. All right, here comes my shadow. As it gets closer to me, that means I'm closer to the ground. Right, yourself kind of under 5 here. 4, 3, 2. Touch. That's going to be fine. Still pretty slanted, but pretty good. Not bad at all. All right, Roswell, this is your first trip to the moon. Let's get you out here and get you on the surface. Whoa, okay. Kind of a fast fall there. See, I can jump on the moon. I do have these little RCS boosters that I can use to kind of control my guy, which is helpful. Because I didn't put a ladder on this thing, so I'm actually going to have to use these boosters to get back in it. Alright, let's take a surface sample from the moon's far side crater. There's a large concentration of melted byproducts here. Some appear to be formed by intense pressures and heat. Well, it's probably because an asteroid hit the moon. Take an EVA report. The dust is getting everywhere. Cool. Here's where I am. I have to get myself back to Earth now. Back to Kerbal. I did pretty good. I kind of want to landed more in the middle of this thing, but this is not bad. Not bad. I ended up in a slope, though, which is kind of difficult to deal with. So, worked out okay in the end. All right, let's get back in this thing and send Roswell back to Earth. Use my rockets here. Don't want to tip this thing over, so come in real smooth. Let's get back in. Let's run my science experiments on my ship. Seismic scan. Atmosphere scan. Can't do that because there's no atmosphere on the moon. A shame. Alright, get a little temperature thermometer. Scan that. Barometer. Again, there's no atmosphere here, so... See what even the data said. Pressure gauge is sitting there motionless. Perhaps you should tap it a few times to be sure. KSP, what a game. Thankfully, I can still see... I'm still in direct sunlight here, so... My solar panels are working fine. Alright, I want to take this thing off and get it to 90 again. Get it around the equator, so... Do a quick save just in case, but... Get this thing up. Retract my gear, because I'm not coming back. Spin myself over, because I kind of like to keep it where you're lined up. Makes it easier to control. And let's leave the moon. We're on a mission back to Earth, so let's get out of here. Alright, get myself back up to about 100,000 is fine. And now we wait. Guess I could go on an exciting spacewalk here, but it's not worth it. Not worth the risk. So I don't want to just burn now because I'd be going too vertical. I want to wait till I get closer to my apoapsis. It'll save gas. But I still have like half a tank here, so that's gonna be plenty to get us out of orbit of the moon and back into the Earth's orbit, and then deorbit us into Earth's atmosphere and land this thing. Thankfully, I got a parachute on here, so be able to land it. Use that drag to our advantage with a parachute. All right, we're going to time warp here, speed this thing up a little bit. All right, 2 minutes away, 1 minute away. All right, this time, since I'm not wanting to go back to the ground, I am going to burn my rockets out the back, and I'm traveling this direction, and I want to go this way faster, so my rockets faced this direction because it'll propel me the direction I'm already going. All right, about right in there, we should be fine. Won't waste too much gas here. This thing out to about 100 where it becomes more circular. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Another trick of the trade that I've learned from playing this game is if I want to get back to Earth from the moon, I typically want to start my burn on the side that's facing Earth. So here's the path I'm on currently. Somewhere over here, I want to start going forwards really fast. And it looks like it's shooting me out the back, but it's actually going to wrap around because I'm going to leave the moon's orbit. Drop myself in, and I'll just deal with that, tightening that up to the Earth later on, because I'm still pretty high up there in space. This will be a retrograde burn, where again I want to go backwards. No, it's not. It's going to be a prograde burn. I want to go forwards. If I go backwards, I'd end up back on the moon. You don't want that. All right, let's time warp to my next maneuver node. When burn time, 14 seconds. Kind of a longer burn. We got plenty of fuel. That's going to be fine. Speed things up because I'm impatient. And we'll start this burn at half the burn time, 7 seconds. It's typically what works best. Is when this number is half that number, that's when you want to go. Okay, that's, I guess, as good as we're going to get there. Alright, so I'm going to leave the moon. It looks like I'm shooting off over here, but hey, guess what? I'm back in Kerbin's orbit, so this is the larger celestial body here. It'll pull me back, because that's physics for you. Bigger things will pull you. And the Earth is bigger than the moon, so it looks like I'm leaving over here. By the time that happens, the biggest thing around me will be the Earth. So, I don't know if I can see the... Okay, I can see the Earth right now. I think I'll probably have a partial eclipse here. Other side of the moon. No, I won't. I'll be fine. So, bye-bye, Moon. Nice knowing you. We're put on the time warp, and we are on our way back to Earth. This go around, I'm wanting to touch the surface. I don't want to stay in space forever, so I'll be burning backwards again. Retrograde. Let's see where I am. I am way out here. How far away is the Earth? About a day away. No big deal. Just a day and a couple hours of space travel. Roswell brought some snacks with her. Let's speed the game up. Okay, that's probably way too fast. Here's my space station is right on this little peninsula here. I might be coming in pretty nice on this mission. So I'm still very high up. I'm fine. And I forgot to run this science test when I was at the moon. It's a real shame. Oh, okay. Just got an email. Mr. Aller's wife had his baby, so there's a new Aller in the clan. That's exciting. It's nice to get those emails. Congratulations, Mr. Aller. Alright, back to our mission here. We gotta get Roswell back to Earth without her burning up in the atmosphere or crash landing, which should be pretty doable. So I'm traveling this way. I want my guy to be facing backwards to the way I'm traveling because I need to slow down. I'm going super fast. Almost 2,500 meters per second. That's fast. I think I missed my window of opportunity to slow down, though. If I slow down at this point, I'll just be wasting gas. I'm actually going to go out my apoapsis again and drop this thing in. I'm still focused on the moon. Let's fix that. I want to focus on my ship now, not the moon. Alright. Let's drop this. Ooh, that you don't want to run right into the Earth. That'd be pretty fast. I'm going to drop it into the atmosphere, and the drag will slow me down. Around 35,000 is where I like to normally go. That would be fine. Alright, so I missed my opportunity to slow down. Instead have to go all the way out to my apoapsis. So I'm going to say bye-bye to the Earth again real quick. It's a shame. That would have been a pretty good landing. I would have been close to the station, I think. Alright, let's time warp to my maneuver. So I'm way out here in space again. Moon's way far away. If I can find Minimus. There's the other moon on this planet, I think. Minimus. Or is it? Is that Minimus? Minimus is super small, so it's not as big as the moon I landed on. This is a 2-second burn. A real quick burn. Let's get closer to my node time, which is shown down here. Alright. Let's try and tighten this up a little bit. Okay, that's probably fine. Let's check my periapsis. Don't want to be too low. 32,000, that'll work just fine. Alright, let's get back closer to Earth again. Speed this thing up significantly. Okay, that's probably way too fast. Alright, we're still fine. We're about to re-enter the atmosphere, though, at 70,000. That's where we're going to start getting really, really hot really fast. It's okay, though, because this whole section of the craft here is going to detach, and it'll just be my command pod with my science stuff. because it'll detach right here. And I've got a heat shield on it too, in case things get a little toasty, which they will. Let's see what it looks like inside the cockpit here. This is what Roswell Kerman's got to work with here. Alright, things getting hot, so I want to go on and detach that part of the ship, leaving just my command module and this heat shield, which is going to help me out. Man, I'm going really fast. Got this thing glued just to keep me going backwards. Can't deploy the parachute now. I'm going way too fast. It would destroy the parachute. Let's take a look in the cockpit again. See what this looks like. Well, that's encouraging. You can see the ground. Surprised none of the science stuff on the side of this is overheating. Let's go ahead and check map mode, see. Something just blew up. Man, we were coming in hot. Normally, I'd already like to be below 2,000 meters per second. It looks like some of the science stuff did indeed blow up. I am coming in way too hot. You live and you learn, I suppose. It's the way in KSP. Which way am I traveling? I'm going this direction. I am not anywhere near the space station. I'm landing like halfway across the planet. Here's my space station. I am literally halfway across the planet. Looks like I'm going to land on ground, though. That's nice. All right, we're slowing down a lot more. We're in the dense part of the atmosphere, so we are slowing down significantly because this air is just so much thicker down here below about 25,000 meters. It's like we're going to miss this little lake over here. That's good. Although a water landing would be fine. Parachute still in the red. Going too fast to launch it, so it yellowed and then it cleared up. We're good to launch our parachute. Hang on a second. We're still pretty high up here. We're burning off a lot of speed, though, which is nice. In fact, I can even try and use some of this drag to sort of fly me around. I definitely don't want to land in that thing. So, actually use some of the drag to push me towards the right a little bit. Alright, everything's going fine. Deploy my chute. At this point, we play the waiting game. Hopefully it opens. Which it will. I've done this a bajillion times now. So be absolutely fine. In fact, I'm going to time warp. This thing's geared to launch at 1,000 feet. We might actually want to tell this thing, hey, go on and just open it right now. Ooh, some G-forces there. But we're going pretty slow. That's what my astronaut sees. It's not very encouraging, just space. Alright, let's time warp it. We're going super slow, so this is looking like a successful mission. In fact, at this point, I'm going so slow I could even pop her on the outside and the drag. The air is not going to do anything for her. I could even jump off and deploy my own chute, but not going to. So I'm going to keep her inside the command pod here. Alright, how far are we from the ground? Oh, okay. We still got a little ways to go here. Oh, never mind. I had the time warp going so fast. Here we are. We're on the ground. We made it back. It's like this thing completely shattered when we landed. Ain't good, but yep. Here we are. She's back on ground again and face planted immediately. Nice job, Roswell. So, those little rocket jets I was using on the moon, they don't do anything here. The atmosphere's going to prevent her from getting any speed from those little backpack jets. A jetpack, I guess a normal person would call it. There you go. A successful mission. Let's recover my vessel. Got a lot of science out of that mission. That's good. Recovered some of the parts. Not all of them. Most of them ended up being just space trash. It's like my pilot gained a little experience. That's nice. There you go. That's how you get to the moon and back in KSP. That only took me, I don't know, probably 20 tries before I got it successfully the first go round. So that's a game I've been kind of binging lately. So I figured I'd share because you guys in the chat today on the live stream are like, play some games for us. So there you go. A successful mission. Not bad. Not bad at all. See you guys.